Good afternoon, everybody. Welcome back to my channel. So, we have so much to talk about this week. What an interesting week this has been. Let me adjust this. It's funny, like when I'm looking at it here, it looks fine, but then when I look at it on a TV or even my phone, it always looks wonky, but whatever. So, first things first, because apparently I'm getting some of that old lady memory loss. I completely forgot to tell you guys something very vital last week, which was I found out the name of my benefactor. Her name is Mildred Landis. I can't read her handwriting, well, correctly anyway, and I thought her last name was Landers. Nope. Her name was Mrs. George Landis. Her first name was Mildred. I was going through, she had a whole stack of work baskets from late 40s and really the entire 1950s, couple 60s, couple early 70s. And they were addressed to her. And of course, it was typed out. So I now know her name. I searched her a little bit, still couldn't find anything. But it occurred to me there were a couple things I didn't try, including I didn't look on Facebook, because even if she wasn't a Facebook user, it's possible her children or grandchildren or even great-grandchildren may have posted some type of memorial page for her on Facebook. So I am going to continue to look for Mrs. Landers. So I'm sorry, Mrs. Landis, now that I know her name is Landis. I made iced coffee correctly today. Yeah, it's not that hard, but you would think I would be able to do it. I actually worked in several cafes in the 80s and 90s when they were like a thing, right? So before I get into all of those patterns from Goodwill, which I'm trying to remember how many I figured out it was about 360 patterns. So we'll talk about that in a minute. I did a thing. Can you guys see that over there? I don't want to make you guys seasick. Remember I said I was going to put some more stuff on that? I did put some more stuff on that. Let me pull this down. Another thing I got at Goodwill this week that I did not show you guys is I found this, and it's some type of a fancy bulletin board. And what I am going to do with it, I am going to I have probably hundreds of buttons that are rhinestone style buttons. Some of them I have sets of, and I'm almost thinking that I should make them into earrings because they're so pretty. Most of them from the 50s, so they're like a faux metal. They're like steel or chrome, and they're made to look like gold or silver, whatever. But they're so beautiful. And I thought, when I saw that, I thought, you know what? I'm going to do kind of like the same thing that I did with the buttons back here, which, by the way, this might be going away. I might need this for my brooches because I'm running out of room for my vintage brooches, which I'll be more than happy to show you guys if you'd like to see them. Just put it in the comments you want to see them, and when I get that taken care of, I'll show them to you. But I wanted to kind of display these beautiful buttons because most of them aren't on cards. Most of them are one or two or whatever, but they're so gorgeous, right? They're just so beautiful. So I decided to try and display them. So in other news this week, so I'm going to be worked on that thing. I have been toying with the idea for a couple of months actually now of doing t-shirts, specifically t-shirts that say no patterns left behind, because I feel like it's my like kind of quote now, right? And so I reached out to a company and started to like look at the options. So I may be getting merch. So I'm pretty excited about getting merch. So I'm working on that. Okay, so what happened this week? Well, a very nice viewer who goes by the handle of Pamela, which is apparently not a real name, but that's fine. You know what, Pamela? I get it. I have a friend who works for the prosecutor's department, and she mostly, I hate to say it, she mostly works with sex offenders. So she's not on Facebook, and she uses like a nickname, because I get it. There are lots of reasons people may not want everybody to know their name, but she sent me a lovely note that said, "Hi, Cybele, I enjoy your YouTube videos. Thank you so much. I hope they're enjoyable. To me, sometimes it seems boring just looking at patterns, but I try and spice it up." She bought 2 patterns from me, which I didn't know, but now I realize it's because she used her quote real name. And I didn't recognize it because we know her as Pamela. Hi, Pamela. Hope you're doing well if you're out there. Thank you so much. This was a really lovely thing to do. She says, I have so many. I thought you might enjoy these uncut. She said, I think, by the way, they were all uncut except for one pattern. I'll show that to you in a minute. I do like them. I like all of them. I'm going to put them in my shop. There's actually a couple of them that I was very tempted to hold on to because I really like them. But I'm going to put them in the shop. I'm trying not to keep patterns. I have so many patterns of my own. I really don't need any more patterns. If I really want a pattern, I can literally shop in my own house. So why would I buy patterns? But to answer your question, Pam, this was the only one that was cut. It's the Marlo Thomas. It's been cut. It was very nicely cut. The only issue, if it's an issue really, is that there were no directions in here. But I'm still going to sell it as a wounded bird because it's a super cool pattern. And the Marlo Thomas patterns, I have several of these. They sell really well. Now, in that bundle that Pam sent me, she also sent me this. She knows that I'm your grandmother at heart. You know, I love a doily. I love a good doily. Can you guys really see how beautiful this is? And I can tell you right now, it's hand embroidered, and I'll show you why. Here's how you tell if something was machine or hand embroidered. You find little things like this. Sometimes you find mistakes like a drop stitch. Sometimes you find the ends of the thread like that. And she didn't just send me one, guys. She sent me, I actually think this one's so beautiful and so sweet. I know some people cut these up for crafting. I will not be cutting these up for crafting. I'm going to actually use them. So she also sent me, this was quite a surprise. I'm sure I've talked about it. I love old cookbooks. I kind of collect them. I mean, I used to be a chef, so they're fascinating to me. This is a reprint from the 70s, but it's so cool because it still has the original recipes in it. And, you know, it's got stuff like this, right? Yeah. I mean, it's cool. And it's got fabulous recipes. And I love the way they did this kind of stuff. You know, it's got a night before Christmas poem on the back. I'm trying to find one of the really, trying to find a really good recipe, but I don't know. We don't really have time for that. But thank you so much, Pam. That was really sweet of you. When I get my you-know-what together and I do get some T-shirts, I have your address and you'll be getting a T-shirt. So drop me a comment at some point, just letting me know what size you are. Now, you guys saw from the video that I got some quilting books and a lot of stuff at Goodwill this weekend. And I picked this up. You'll remember it from the shot. I did the zoom in shot with it. The reason I picked this up is because I like to sit and sort through my stacks of buttons occasionally, just like while I'm watching TV or something. So I got this to use as the tray to do the buttons on. And then while I was in Walmart, this was in the clearance aisle, and I thought, this is perfect for sorting buttons. It's got these like furrows, I guess, you know, these rows here where you can, you know, sort out your buttons. So those two I will be using for sorting buttons. I am still getting my you-know-what together. I'm still really considering doing a physical store. In fact, tomorrow I'm going to pick up $20. This woman is selling a box of notions, and it's full of hem tapes and stuff like that. She's got one Bucilla vintage embroidery kit, stuff like that. So it was really nice. So anyway, all right, let's get into it right away. So let's look at Pam's patterns. She had lots of lovely vintage patterns. A lot of them are modern. She did. I can tell that Pam went to Joann's when they had one of their $1.99 sale. I'm with you, Pam. I've done the same thing. Okay. So, but she did send me some beautiful patterns, including, look at this gorgeous advance, right? It's like the shirt dress of everybody's dreams. Look at how gorgeous that is. Obviously 1950s. It's got that great 1950s look. I love this collar. I don't know if you guys can really see it, but can you see how it doesn't have a notch in it. It's just one giant piece. And, you know, talk about popping that collar. That's a collar you pop. And then some lovely 70s butterick. This is maternity, by the way. I'm always so excited when I get maternity. I know it's a very small majority of women who actually sew maternity for themselves. But I really don't see a lot of maternity patterns online, especially uncut, the vintage ones. And I think, they just got used, right? I mean, women had more than one kid back in the day, more than two kids. Like Mrs. Landis, now that I know her name, had 10 kids. She's going to wear a maternity pattern out. If she likes it, she's going to wear it out. So this was also in there. I love this top. And one of the things I did like was Pam sent some of the more modern patterns were in larger sizes. So I was very tempted to keep some of them. I love this. It's so great, isn't it? And it's uncut and factory folded. I love that about you, Pam. And then this one, this might be the piece de resistance. Look at that shirt. And the pattern itself is in amazing condition. It was very well cared for, Pam. I don't know where you got this, but whoever had it before you, very well cared for, because you're not this old. So you're not this old, Pam. So cute little Vogue. Easy Vogue. Oh, sorry, upside down. Green pepper patterns. It's funny, I just got one of these and now I have another one. These are great. These are a lot of outdoorsy type stuff like this. They also, I had a pattern a while ago that was for like a tent by them, Quick sew ladies PJs. And then this, I love this. Her name is Dolores, right? We know her name. That's Dolores. She works at the bowling alley. Right? She occasionally drinks at the bowling alley, right? Dolores, we all know her. All right, so now we're getting into some of the more modern patterns. When I say modern, I mean 90s, because that's the hill I'm going to die on, guys. Oh, there we go. Hello, Olivia. Hello, Pam. Hello, Olivia again. Okay. I'm glad you're loving it, Pam, since, are these, no, you're Pam from Ireland, Pam Flynn, correct? Right? Okay. I'm getting my Pamelas confused, but. And then we had some, sorry, I'm already running out of room. We had some stitch and saves. Just really great patterns. Like, I'll give you this, Pamela. You're like me. When you look at a pattern, I noticed because it's a McCall's product now. I very seldom buy like a pattern like this. Like, I think this is one of the only patterns you had like this, where it's just a skirt in like two styles. If I'm going to be spending, even if it's $1.99 during the sales, I want the shirt, the pants, a skirt, maybe a jacket, maybe a vest. You got to give me some pattern for my money. Because my thing is, even if I don't make the skirt, I might really like the shirt. And 2 years from now, come back and be like, oh, I'm going to make that skirt. I like that skirt. I changed my mind. So here's some of the modern ones. She had two of these. Little Cynthia Raleigh for us. And you had asked, you said you hope that these sell well. These will. Things like this do sell well for me. As much as I consider myself kind of I often tell people that my side hustles, I sell all the Pam. Okay. Yes, Pamela, all the Pams are watching. All of this modern stuff does sell well, even though, I literally really recently introduced myself as being a vintage pattern seller to someone. Not really introduced myself because I already knew her, but she didn't know I had a side hustle. And I was telling her, my side hustle is making me close to the same amount as driving the school bus. It's starting to actually really get up there. I don't know if I told you guys, but last year I was supposed to pay about $760 in taxes because I made, oh, here we go. Here's the other one. There were two. Because I actually made that much money off the side hustle. And luckily I have a lovely accountant, Maria, and she did this thing where you can take, for 1 year only, you can take like $500 off your taxes if it's a business, if you started a business. So, and they have a cap, like you can buy $500 worth of stuff for your small business. And so she that's what she did. she kind of wrote it up as my small business expenses. Okay, well, that was all of the patterns from Pamela. Again, Pamela, thank you so much. It's really sweet. I was completely shocked. I would have done a serious unboxing with you guys, but when the box came, this UPS truck pulls up, he drops off, and I see this box, and I'm like, wow, that woman that I bought the Etsy patterns from, because I had bought the second, destash from her. I thought, wow, that's quick, right? And so I just tore into the box. I didn't really look at it. And I start pulling out this pattern. I'm like, I didn't buy these patterns. And then I found Pam's note. Thank you so much, Pamela. I found your note, and I really do appreciate it. And I kept your address. I kept the box so that I could have your address, and you will be getting a t-shirt when I get my you-know-what together. I'm thinking by the end of summer. I just really want a shirt that says no patterns left behind. And I just really want the cheap hussy symbol, the thumbnail on a shirt that says, you say cheap like it's a bad thing. That's all I want out of life right now. So anyway, okay, so let's talk about this Etsy seller. I got all the patterns from her, but I had a little bit of an issue. I received from her multiple patterns that she had put were uncut. And it's one of those things where I get it if you made a mistake. I'm absolutely sure that I've listed something as uncut, and then the person got it and a facing piece, something little was cut. I'm sure. How could it not have happened? I know that I personally have gone into other patterns to pull a pocket piece out because some other pattern I'm working on, especially skirts, don't have that nice deep pocket. And so I'll get it from another pattern I have, right? Stuff happens. I get it. But I ended up with several patterns from her that she had listed as uncut that were not only not uncut, here's an example. This one has no dress pieces whatsoever. It's got a couple of the auxiliary pieces, but no dress pieces. It is a cute dress, which is why I bought it, but it's unsellable. This one was probably the worst of the lot. There's no shirt pieces in there. There's a piece for the drawstring and a couple of facing pieces. This one, there's I think there's 2 pants pieces, but not the pieces for the waist belt. There's 2 vest pieces, but not the side piece for the vest. So, okay. So what do I do when I get patterns like this? Well, in the case of these, I am going to pull the pattern out. And this one has enough pieces, I may actually be able to put them aside and someone may be looking for them. But these, I'm going to end up using these to stuff boxes, and then I'll save the directions and the envelopes in case anybody ever reaches out to me and asks me if I have the directions or the envelopes for these. Now, this pattern here, this pattern was cut, but it's in pretty good shape. To tell you the truth, I haven't priced it. It may not even be worth posting, because if it was never an expensive pattern when it's uncut, there's not much I can do with it. But I mean, it's not bad. It's all of these skirts. I think it's from 2009, which would make sense. I kind of remember there was a skirt on here. Yeah, this one up here. I actually kind of had a skirt very similar to that back in 2009. So we'll see what happens. There was one pattern that, even though it's uncut, it still only sells for I think the highest price I saw on it was $3.99. It was this one. And it's not bad, right? It's a wardrobe pattern. It goes up to a size 20. I'm sorry, size 22, because that's what I am. I'm size 22. But I was digging these shorts, right? Those shorts were kind of cute. I'll keep it in my stash for a while, and you never know. Patterns go through cycles. This is obviously out of print. This pattern doesn't exist anymore. When I looked up this number, it's a completely different new Simplicity pattern. But it's cute, right? And yeah, who knows? In a year, maybe I will not have used it and I'll end up making this pattern. Now, let's look at the other ones. So this is such an awesome pattern. I really love the threads patterns. I'm a little sad that Simplicity ended the relationship they have with Threads. For those of you who don't know, Threads, I think it's still around, is a magazine, and it's like called like the Magazine of Fine Sewing. And it's really a great magazine if you already know how to sew and you just kind of want to take your sewing to the next level, almost to the point of dressmaking and tailoring. They have great tips. They have a YouTube channel. If you ever are stuck and you can't figure out like how to put a zipper in, or you're having trouble with sleeves, you can check out the Threads websites. Also, Minerva, which is a fabric company from, I believe, England, they also have a sewing channel that's very good. So, oh, look at this pattern. See, I needed this pattern before summer started because it's got a bikini in it, but no, got it late. And all in all, I'm very happy with these patterns. I was a little upset about I just feel like it's the principle. If something is cut, just list it as cut. Let people know what it is. Don't list it as uncut. It's kind of not fair. Luckily, I had already bought the other pattern, so she had sent me a discount. So all these patterns were $2. And then the second round of patterns that I bought were discounted, so that they were even less than $2. So somehow I kind of make up the difference in between. And all of these patterns are early 2000s. I think the most recent one that I found was 2017. So, they're all in that. And in fact, we had a little bit of Y2K going on here. This just cracked me up. As soon as I looked at this, I immediately thought of Avril Lavigne. Remember, doesn't she even look like Avril Lavigne? Well, my friend's daughter went through her like punk, but not really punk, like Avril Lavigne punk stage in like 2005, maybe. I can't remember. I picked up this pattern. It was a little out of the norm. I picked it up because I thought, the ability to make these hats is not bad. Look at this beret for little kids. And it's like the vest and the hats and the scarves. It's mostly fleece, which is fine. Fleece is very forgiving. It's a great pattern for people that are learning to sew. By the way, there were 2 of those threads patterns. The second one, which she had listed on cut, was indeed not cut, but somebody had unfolded it, which is kind of annoying, but it happens. I get it. I picked up some suit patterns in this haul. I just feel like regardless of the suit, whether the suit's in style or out of style at the current moment, they're always great to hold on to because let's face it, ladies, stuff goes in and out of fashion so quickly. See, no line drawings, And it does kind of crack me up. I just saw a video by a young woman, early 20s, and she is shopping thrift stores looking for Y2K style clothes. And I'll admit, it hurts a little bit because I was like, Y2K, I think I was 35 or 36. I wasn't young, but I wasn't old either, right? I was still pretty. I considered myself still spring chicken back in those days. And and she used my new favorite word, turn of the century, because apparently, yes, I was alive at the turn of the century, which does not sit well with me at all. But what are you going to do? Another Hilary Duff pattern. I now have 3 Hilary Duff patterns. I don't know why they don't sell. They're very cute. I'm not really sure why they don't sell, but they don't seem to sell very much. This is so super cute. It's kind of a shame that I didn't do this haul earlier because there's a lot of these little, like these kinds of things, these little like just wispy little sundresses that you could wear all summer. I loved this pattern. It's a shame it's not my size, but I thought it was so nice. I'll give her this. She had very good taste in patterns. She seems to definitely have a style. I definitely see like a boho kind of style going on with her and works for me. Like I said, most of these patterns now are going to be out of print because I feel like the pattern companies, Pamela is saying, for those of you who can't see this, she found a 1975 jumper pattern and she's going to remake the jumper. Yeah, go for it. Go for it. But as I was saying, these These little sundresses are so nice to have in the summer. Speaking of, this is one of the dresses I was talking about, but this is not from Walmart. This dress is from Amazon. It's one of their Amazon essentials. And it's very nice. I got to say, it's a maxi. You know, it's perfect for the summer. It's nice and long and cool. This is so cute, isn't it? But it does kind of look like an apron. No line drawings. McCall's with the line drawings, man. So cheap. And this is so cute. So hopefully, even though summer's over, I'll still sell those dress patterns. And then she had a whole bunch of, if I can get to them, she had a whole bunch of new looks. She must have really liked new looks. So I picked this up. Again, great basic skirt pattern. And even if you don't feel like these are in style right now, give it 10 minutes. It'll come back in style. And this is really lovely. Nice little prom dress, possibly a wedding dress. This is a pattern I really wish was in my size, but it wasn't. But I'm going to look for it. This, I think, was 2017. This might still be, might still be in a cabinet at Joann's. I don't know if your Joann's are like this, but I noticed my Joann's, even when a pattern has been, even when a pattern is from like 2017, you might still find it in their cabinet. I don't think they clean out their cabinets quite as quickly as some Joann's do, because I know other people I've spoken to, especially people that have bought patterns from me that are newer, have told me, like, especially the large patterns, that their Joann's just sells out of them, doesn't reorder them, and that's it, So cute. She had a couple buttericks also. Not a lot, but they're cute. Oh, this next dress I thought was so cute. Wait till you guys see this dress. Look how cute that dress is. Detail here. Really cute. She was heavy on the dresses, so she may be a woman that does not wear pants, which I totally understand. And this really nice coat pattern. Look at how nice that coat is. It's very hard to think about coats. Luckily here in New Jersey, it has not been insanely hot. I was telling you guys about that break we got last week. It continued through most of this week. We did have one day, though, that was, what was it? It was Saturday. I wanted to photograph all these patterns, including the ones that Pamela had sent me. Oh, one more from her. I picked this up because, this will sell when we get closer to Halloween. I wanted to photograph the patterns that Pamela had sent me, and it was so overcast. It was horrible. You just couldn't photograph anything. Well, that was yesterday. That's right. Saturday was yesterday. So Pam, your patterns will be up online this afternoon. If anybody's interested in them, they'll be up. I'm probably going to work on that when I get done here. So in other news, one of my favorite YouTubers, who is a sewing YouTuber, she goes, I don't know what her name is. Her channel is Green Acres Vintage. I put the link down below because I really love her videos. She's been missing for about a year, and she came back and she just didn't say a lot, but she said she had like a major family kind of loss and she needed a break. So she took a year off. But this is what I like about her. She very often sews using the vintage reissues. So if you're like me and you don't want to maybe ruin an original vintage pattern, but you like the look, she kind of does a pattern review where she talks about if she had difficulty with a collar, or if she doesn't like the way a waistband goes in and things like that. And just generally speaking, she's very nice to watch. She's got excellent taste. She uses great fabrics. But I really like the fact that she talks about any difficulties she had with the pattern. So she's back. Her link is down below. Watch some of her videos. She's really very entertaining to watch. And that is it for me for this week. Now, we'll talk about the elephant in the room, the 360, 350 patterns that I bought, whatever it was. So The interesting thing about that haul, which I'm going to start showing you next week, by the way, is it was very heavy on Vogues, both large format Vogues and the regular, this size pattern Vogues, and a lot of Berta. And then a little bit of Simplicity, a little bit of New Look, a little bit of McCall's, like kind of a little bit of the big four, the other big fours, a little bit of Butterick, but really, really heavy on Berta and Vogue. So I think what I'm going to do next week is I'm going to start with the Vogues this week, and we'll do Vogue next week. I'm going to have to kind of put off Mrs. Landis's patterns for a little while. I am going to organize them so maybe they're in a better state than the way they are now. I'm down to one box that I need to go through and sort. And then what's left over is basically children's patterns. And so I will sort them well into the future. But so I'm going to start working on those Vogues. The majority of these patterns seem to be up until they seem to be some 70s, 80s, and then up until about like mid to late 90s. And again, we're talking multiples of the same pattern, which makes me think that this was another one that she was either a dressmaker or she had a shop, because nobody has the same Vogue pattern in 3 different sizes. You just don't, So next week, we will be looking at the Vogues from that haul. Like I said, I'm going to have to push Mrs. Landis's patterns, the See and Sews and the Stitch and Save specifically, and then also some of the craft patterns, are going to be pushed a little bit into the future. Probably the month of September. We go back to school before Labor Day this year, which no one's liking, but the payoff is that we're getting a longer spring break. So there you go. That's where the payoff is. So until next week, please like, subscribe, comment. Pamela, thank you again. Thank you for joining me today, everybody. And next week, we'll be looking at Vogue. And until then, like, subscribe, comment, and please stay well, stay cool, and I will see you next time.